Well, it's making me feel anxious, stressed, because the money they've taken from my benefits, and also with the bedroom tax, is it they call it, bedroom tax, and also the council tax that everybody has to pay. Mine's doubled in the year. First year it started off at £70, and then this year, tax year, it's gone up to £187 a year I have to pay, which has left me with basically no money out of my fortnightly income support. And now I'm finding myself going out into shoplifting just to buy food, having to go 3-4 days a week with no heating or hot water because I can't afford to put any gas or whatever into me, you know, to provide hot water or heating.
Initially, I was training and trying to get myself through the recovery cycle myself, going through all the practical stuff of re-educating myself and putting plans in place for the future. I found this an added burden. As I was going one way, I was being pulled the other way and fearing the loss of my home because of the bedroom tax. You know, I felt that it was totally unfair that I should be taxed for something I had no choice in. It wasn't me that asked for a 2-bedroom property. However, I was stuck in one. And when I did say to the council, you know, right, I'm willing to move, where have you got me, for me to move to? There was no answer. And when I said, what help will you give me to move? They turned around and says, though you will get no help, you have made a choice. Well, to be quite honest, what choice was I given? This created an incongruence of thought and added to my stress levels.
Well, I personally have struggled. I was on incapacity, went for the dreaded Atos medical, ended up with 0 points. And I was so dismayed, I actually decided to not only appeal but take it to the full tribunal, and I won. And I know so many other people. The impact was not only financial, it really, again, knocked my confidence, knocked me for 6. Could quite easily have just gone out and bought a bottle of vodka. I was so distraught, but I didn't.
Well, basically, I'm still currently going through application for personal independence payment, which I applied for in October 2013. I actually received my decision on May the 19th of this year, I think, which I was awarded care component but turned down for my mobility. I phoned them up constantly, following the process, and I asked for a mandatory consideration, which apparently was just dealt with by me saying that. No one contacted me, despite me ringing weekly. I then received a letter saying, we've looked at your decision again, although we've not changed it, which I fully understand because they'd not had the updated information, or the further letters for further tests and everything else that's going on with the hospital that's arisen from my conditions. I then received a phone call from the healthcare manager, after again repeatedly ringing, and he says to me, well, it doesn't matter, we can't discuss it over the phone because you could tell me anything, even though I assured him that I had the correct paperwork and contact numbers should they wish to make their inquiries. I also then got a letter saying, right, here's how to appeal at a tribunal. So through a contact I've got at sea, I got in touch with, I got referred to Welfare Rights, who have took on my case, and obviously with the information I've provided them, they're explaining to me that it's a case that they can win, and DWP are totally in the wrong, despite having given me nearly a year's worth of stress as my conditions worsened.
It's because we could see the problems, the practical application of these things really messing people up. You know, these are people under pressure anyway in life, somewhat dissociated from reality in many regards. And we saw that it was just putting complications in the way, creating obstacles. Welfare reform is a good bill in itself, but these obstacles act as social barriers to change.
Well, personally, you know, one of my family members has recently been sanctioned, which has really impacted a lot on them, because, you know, he's had to have help from me, which, you know, obviously means my wages are low. And from talking to other people, it's having a big impact. A lot of people are thinking of going back into crime. A lot of people don't understand why they've been sanctioned. A lot of people don't understand what help they can get. Things like food banks, because when they're being sanctioned, it's just, you know, you're not getting your money, that's it. You're not being told anything.
Well, because I've no doubt whatsoever that I'm not the only one. And there's probably people that don't know what to do and have probably accepted that decision, because the Welfare Rights Advisor actually said that to me. This is where the benefits want you to be at, where it's that much of a hassle and ball ache that it's, well, you know what, I can't be bothered with it. I'll just accept I've got part of it rather than having my full entitlement. And it really annoys me because up until even past my illness, I've worked in very well paid jobs, paid my contributions, tax and national insurance, and then at the time when I come to need help from the social welfare because my health and my employability, I can't get it, and I think that stinks. Absolutely not. Even when I've rung them to question what's happening, I've been given the same answer, almost like the person who's answering the phone is a gatekeeper, as if I have to say some magic word or do something magic to actually speak to the person that's dealing with my claim.
Fortunately for me, because of the line of work that I've chosen, again, I'm one of the lucky ones. I'm somewhat in the know. I have help and advice on hand from work colleagues, but that is an exception to the rule. In general, these people are fearful of people in situations of authority. They've got concerns for their everyday welfare, not to feel like they're being spoken down to, and that's how many of them feel it is, that they're being talked down to, that they've got no say in the matter. And I'd very much like to add what I'm hearing generally on the street and why the government can't hear this themselves. When you receive a letter from the DWP, it states this is the minimum amount of money the law states you need to live on. So how can then you add taxes to things that they have no choices in? Where's the legal framework in that? I see none.
Well, you put it like they're pulling you every 28 days, sort of thing, basically. You know, you go down, like look, they're springing stuff on you what you don't know about, which they are doing. They're springing stuff on you, you know, and it's like basically it's just like a waste of time, basically.
It's you seem to well, in my case it happened. I got a letter telling me that I would be paying this, and you know, I didn't get no letters before saying this would be happening, and this amount of money would be getting stopped out your benefits each month, fortnight, whatever it is. The only time you seem to get letters from the DWP is when they're going to take money from you. You know, it's information from them is quite hard to come by. You have to, you know, go down there, spend hours down there, hours on the phone talking to people, and it just, you know, it just humiliation. You know, it's humiliating. It is.
Better advice. I get more advice off Framework, basically. They're very helpful. Better advice down there, you know. You go in there and someone that's like me never use computers and stuff like that. Got to do touch screen and all stuff like that. And basically You've got to do it yourself, basically. You know.
Well, Job Centre Plus, from my experience, is ridiculous. I live in Batesford, and my local one is Hyson Green. That's not even open unless you've got an appointment there. So no longer can you go in and speak to someone. It's very hard to get hold of them as well. Same with DWP. They have 0845 and 0345 numbers, which may be a local rate, but if you've got no phone credit or you haven't got a house phone and you've not got access to a computer, okay, the library want 1 hour a week. Have you ever tried doing all your benefits stuff in 1 hour a week? Impossible, and all the rest of your stuff. So why not introduce free phone numbers for inquiries like this? I know for the personal independence it was when I applied, so why wasn't it when I continued to try and get in touch with people to see what was happening with my application? And same with the benefits. You phone up, I understand they're very busy, that's why you're on hold a long time, despite their targets and whatever they say. You're waiting between 20 to 30 minutes because of the high volume of calls. We accept that. But when you then get through, it's a treatment that we get when we get through that is unacceptable. Do you know what I mean? As if like they're spoken to as if we're second-class citizens, rather than being dealt with by a professional customer service agent.
To not have to constantly worry about keeping the roof above my head while I was seeking and searching out services that could help and support me in all that I was endeavouring to do for myself. I basically felt like at that time I was being flung adrift. You know, everybody in society was somewhat panicking and concerned. Nobody knew what the future would hold, and we knew that this was not the answer. It was just penalising the poor. I would say there needs to be added advice and support on hand, and some kind of, how can I put it, some kind of bridge between the time that they've got to repay this debt and the time that we can actually put things into place that will help them to budget better and to come to terms with changes. I mean, change is all good in life, but too much change, too quick, and none of us cope very well. Especially those in a less likely position to resolve them, and that's where these service users really are.
If they're the ones sanctioning them, they're the ones that should be signposting them where to go for help, not just leaving them to wander around. For instance, you know, my family member didn't know anything about food banks. He didn't know anything because he wasn't told. He was just told you're being sanctioned and that's it.
Probably a bit more help with around financial help, I suppose, because it all seems financial. Because, you know, a couple of years ago I was getting on all right. You know, I was managing. I had a few quid left out of each fortnightly pay, but now I've got nothing left out of the pay I get each fortnight, and I'm having to go out. I feel myself going backwards instead of going forwards. I'm having to go out shoplifting again, just to get something to eat, and you know, I just don't feel that's right.
Basically, just think what you're doing, personally. Because there is some genuine people out there. I want a job, but when you go down there, you don't get no help out of it. But listen, you're not. You know, you're not.
Consider the people that you're dealing with as individuals, not as a paper file. Because these people, yes, I understand there are some people that are getting what they're not entitled to, but the majority of them are entitled to that and they're not receiving it. Now, personally, I think there's a clear system that, right, on first application, we'll turn everybody down, because then those that appeal will be the ones that really need it and that want to go through that stress. So it's putting a lot of people off. The application situation is an absolute joke. Yes, I know there's other situations, new systems and all that that's going to have a knock-on effect, but decision makers don't understand what effect that has on the individual out on the street.
Get real. Really get real. This is the real world, where people have real world and human problems. We don't all get the chance to sit there behind a desk making decisions that affect everybody's lives. When you really want to give somebody help, you do it from the heart. That means you sacrifice something of yourself. You don't ask the little people with nothing to do without. You put your hand in your pocket and you put a cap on your own spending.
I'd probably ask them to come and live a month in my shoes and see how they get on. You know, I mean, I'm trying to go through recovery, and all this has done is hinder my recovery, because it's put me back. It's put me back a good year, because this time last year this time 2 years ago, I was feeling quite good about myself and my future. But as I sit here today, I don't really see a future unless, like I was saying earlier, I go into a rehab, and I feel that's being forced upon me with the situation that I'm in. I mean, I want a job, I want to get out and work. I'm sick and tired of having no money in my pocket.
Think and actually talk to people before you do things. Don't, you know, just think you know it all. Actually get the real people in there, talk to them and understand what people are going through.